Good morning, Jesse. How are you?
All is well. How you doing?
I'm all right today. I wanted to tell you about something. I've been listening for a while. We've talked before. I found you back just right before Christmas, but there was something I wanted to tell you about. While I still have the chance. I used to be, I guess you would say, I used to have like a street mentality where, I've had a pretty rough life. Not to be heavy or anything like that, but I've had a lot of bad things happen to me, and it caused me to grow in a way where, when people disrespected me or mistreated me, I felt I needed to respond in a very aggressive way, to make sure, just to keep myself safe. And I had a lot of anger and hatred in my heart for the majority of my life. I'm 36 years old now. And around the time, this happened at the same time I found your show, it came to light that there were some people that I had known for about 18 years, and they were planning to harm me. And someone that was involved in that group came to me, and because their conscience got the better of them, and they were like, this is wrong, and they were feeling really uneasy about it, and they said, hey, you're probably going to hate me, but, you deserve to know this, etc. So
were they going to physically harm you?
What was that?
Were they planning to physically harm you or try to harm you in other ways?
All of the above.
Oh, okay.
All of the above.
All right.
And so I read about 3 months of text messages of these people just talking back and forth. First, it just started as them not liking me, and then it just spiraled out of control.
Yeah.
And I ended up confronting these people, and one of them really broke down, and they wanted mercy. They were apologizing and so forth. But I was so angry at the time, I didn't know how to respond. So I told them they'd be hearing back from me, and I got off the phone and I sat for a couple of days thinking about how I was going to deal with it. And I was so angry, my body was shaking, and the rage I had in me was unbelievable. And a lot of the stuff you talk about how, no sin is really greater than another,
right.
And we all make mistakes. And I sat there, and on and off over the course of my life, I've always kind of struggled with which paths to go down, but I knew it was a pivotal moment because I could either respond by really getting revenge on this person, and there's more than one person, but there was one main guy, or I kind of was having that voice in my head being like, you make mistakes too, Sam, and, the person expressed remorse and whatever, and I didn't really know what to do about it, but I wanted to mess this guy up. But I remember I knelt down. I was in my bathroom. I just happened to be in there, and I knelt down, and I remember just kind of like folding my hands, and I kind of like put my head in my hands, and I asked God to forgive the person. And that's not even necessarily what I wanted to do. I wanted to go after them, but I asked God. I just said, if I'm going to be honest with myself, I
Sam,
make
hold that
mistakes
thought for me. Can you hold it? Let me take a break.
Yeah.
All right. Do not hang up. Hold on. Amazing testimony, folks. I could just see it. Amazing testimony. We were talking to Sam before the break there. He's talking about all this anger he had. A group of friends went after him. At first, he really wanted to take them out. Then he went and met with at least one of them. And Sam says that he went into the bathroom and he prayed for the guys or the people. And I want to just finish up with that. Sam.
Hey.
So you go into the bathroom and you say you prayed for the guy?
I asked God to just forgive them. And I when I called them back up after I said, well, first I'll say when I asked God to forgive them, I felt like 1,000 pounds physically. It was like a physical sensation because I just felt like my whole body felt lighter.
Yeah.
And, I know you're not into, being too emotional and all that, but I did have tears come out of my eyes when I asked God to forgive the person.
Right on.
Because it was such a release.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in that moment, I felt the anger leave. And the phone call I had with the person before, I was yelling and screaming at them, and I called them back up. And I said, look, I'm done, yelling and screaming. And, they had previously asked me if I would forgive them. And they explained, they didn't excuse why they had, plotted against me and had, wanted to do this stuff to me, but they explained how it got there.
Yes.
And, when they asked me for forgiveness, I just said, you know what? I said, you are forgiven. And I said, there's not going to be, it's not something I'm going to hold over your head for the rest of your life or whatever. I said, I let go of it. And then I told them, just like I said, I said, I make mistakes too. And what was in my head is kind of like how it's before I ever even heard you say it. In order for God to forgive us, we have to forgive others. And I imagine myself dying and standing before God and just being told, like, why should I forgive you for when you messed up in life if you don't want to forgive other people? So I just let go of it. And I want to make the distinction. It wasn't even something I wanted to do. My nature was, I felt so angry. I was like, I want to mess this person up. I want to give them what they deserve for what they did to me. But I knew the right thing to do, aside from how I felt, aside from my feelings, was it really is better to forgive. And I actually ended up recently sharing a meal with this person just last week. And I hugged them, I embraced them, and, talked about problems they were having. And there just really is peace. And it's not just in that relationship. I mean, ever since around Christmas when I found you, Jesse, I've gradually been letting go. It's like being in remission from cancer.
Yeah.
I have so much less hatred and anger in my heart. And I'm, for the first time in 36 years, really, I'm able to actually wake up in the morning and feel light and just enjoy small things and find happiness that I never felt before and just be at peace. And I'm really getting away from the mentality that I had before of, like retaliation and vengeance. And I don't want any part of that anymore. And I feel very, when I was in it, I was all about it. And I thought that was how to be a man. And I was sure of it. And I'm really seeing how stupid that was because it's not.
Yeah.
And
amazing. Yeah. Amazing testimony, Sam. I don't have anything to add to it. It's so clear and it's so true and it's so right. It's just right. You're absolutely right about it, man.
Yeah. And I know you don't take credit for anything. You always point back to God, but I really am grateful for you, Jesse, because I've been in therapy, because like I said, I've had a lot of bad things happen to me throughout my life. I had a lot of trauma, and I've been in therapy for probably 20-plus years, been on medication, a bunch of different therapists, and no one has ever helped me achieve the peace and joy in my life that I have found through the show. And I know that kind of sounds like I'm kissing your butt, or says I'm not. I'm just being genuine, man.
Well, it doesn't sound that way. I totally know what you mean. And I like the fact that you see that it's just me pointing you back to God, and that the real help is coming from Him, and that and that's what He would do. God worked, as He did with Christ, He worked through people to point them back to the Father. Absolutely, man.
Well, I don't think anyone, even if God is taking the credit, man, I don't think anyone could have communicated it to me in quite the way that you did. I really appreciate you, Jesse.
You're welcome, man. God bless you. An amazing, amazing testimony. I have nothing to add to it, but amazing. God bless you, man. Call me again.
You too, Jesse. Have a good day.
All right. Oh, wow. Amazing. Really. Inside, I'm in tears. I'm weeping. A soul has returned to the Father. What does it profit a man that he preserve the body and lose the soul? You are not your body. You are not your body. And as long as you identify with the body or anything, you will suffer. You're not going to have peace. It just ain't going to happen. You're going to have fear. You're going to have, and you'll be miserable. You'll live in imagination. And you're not your imagination. It is the imagination. It is of the devil. It's evil. Amazing. And don't forget to like, follow, tweet, subscribe, and share the Jesse Lee Peterson radio show, folks. We really appreciate it. We are at war. It is a spiritual battle for the soul of America. And it's going to take all of us to do it.